don't be afraid to sell. People who are annoyed by your selling, they weren't gonna buy from you anyway. What is up, you guys? It's me, Gayla Maurice, and welcome back to another creative business video here on my channel. If you are anything like me, then you are constantly researching what other creatives in your field are doing, and that's originally how I came upon this video by Erin on Demand. Now, let me start off by saying I'm pretty familiar with Erin's work. I am really impressed with what she has built, and I'm pretty familiar with her journey here on YouTube, so I know that unlike a lot of people, when she first started her YouTube channel is when it blew up. I think it blew up like in the first couple months of her having her channel, which is so cool and so inspirational. But I also know that that's not how a lot of our journeys are. That's certainly not how mine has been. I've been on YouTube for the past 3 years now, and I too still have been able to make money using my YouTube channel, but sometimes I know that it's just nice to see other people who have maybe perspectives that are a little bit more similar to yours if you don't have some huge viral moment like she did. Like Erin, YouTube is not my only business, it's a leg of my business. So it's a part of my entire brand called Motion Prep, and so it is kind of really integral in how my business ebbs and flows and really is the center of how I make money in it. If you have checked out one of my videos before, you already know we get in depth around here. So go ahead and grab your notepad. You already see how long the video is, okay? And let's go ahead and get started. In a recent video, I shared with you guys why I really feel like right now during this creator recession is actually perfect time for micro-influencers and small creators. So if you have not checked that video out, I will be sure to link it up in the atmosphere somewhere so you can give that a listen. But part of that, it really involves just being intentional about your content. And so my first tip, if you're really trying to make money on YouTube, is to target a measurable piece of data in your analytics. Now, a lot of people will say, I check my analytics all the time. I see my views all the time, but do you actually understand what your analytics are trying to tell you? Your analytics aren't just a bunch of numbers. They're actually data that's giving you information on how your content is performing and what things you should be changing. So, for example, if you're trying to improve your average view duration, which is something that YouTube really looks at when it's looking to recommend your video to other people on browse, then you want to ask yourself, are my introductions really catchy? Am I taking too long in the introduction, and am I not getting to what people actually want me to talk about? This means that you need to change your editing and change and make differences in how you're actually putting the video together on the back end. Are people maybe not clicking your videos as often? That means that you have to improve your thumbnails. Take a look at what thumbnails are already working in your field and just do that. I'm telling you guys, it's the easiest way to do it is just kind of look at what's already working, because chances are your analytics are actually trying to tell you which things you need to change. Your analytics will also tell you now, which I don't know if it always used to, but it does now, it'll tell you if most of your views are coming from your existing audience or if they're coming from new audience members. And if you're trying to actually grow your channel in order to increase your pool of people who could either be buying your products or services or just increase your ad revenue, then you gotta be bringing in some new viewers. So look at those things on the back end of your analytics, because those things are going to separate the hobbyists from the people who are actually here to make some coin on YouTube. YouTube, at the end of the day, is a skill, and you've got to be good at putting videos together, and that takes time. So give yourself some time to learn things, and then once you've targeted one piece of data, then target the next piece, and then that way you already have like a way of working, and you don't have to keep going back and changing things. You'll already know what works, and you can just keep doing that. My second tip for making money on YouTube, if you are a micro-influencer or small content creator, is to make sure that you're funneling people into all of your other content and your other services on your website through each of your videos. So if you are a small creator, chances are one video could be the first time that someone's ever come in contact with you. It could be the first video of yours that they've ever seen. And so you want to make sure that you are referencing the other videos that they actually might like on your channel, just like I did at the beginning of this video. Or you could reference a offering or a service that you're providing on your website and direct people to your website to collect emails. You guys, we do not own YouTube, we don't own these platforms, and at the drop of a dime, it be changing. So you need to make sure that you are having another way to get in contact with the people who are starting to become a part of your community, so that eventually, even if you aren't selling something now, when you are selling something, you have a way of getting in contact with them. So do not underestimate the importance of email lists. I promise they will seem super unimportant when you're first gathering them until you need them. Then you will be happy that you had them. And when it comes to connecting people back on your YouTube platform, making sure that your content is connected and bingeable is what is going to make people want to continue to sit and watch the videos. And this is definitely something that I did learn from Erin. Having videos that are bingeable really can help people kind of just sit and have something to watch. I was sick for the past 2 weeks, you guys, and all I did was just binge a bunch of new people's content, because that's what people do when they have a lot of time on their hands. And so you really want to hone in and take advantage of that time where people have nothing else to do, so that they can really delve deep into your content and become more connected with you and eventually want to buy from you. Lastly, the reason why this is super important is because you want to show that your audience is not just the kind of audience that sits and watches, but the audience that acts. And I'll get to this a little bit later when I start talking about brand deals and working with brands, but you want to get your audience in the habit of clicking on things when they come to your YouTube channel or when they come to your website, because you want to show that they engage with your content and that they are a purchasing audience. So like I said, we'll get to that more in a second, but just make sure you're having people click around because you want them to dive all the way into your stuff. My third tip for micro-influencers and small creators who want to make money using YouTube is to curate the look of your channel and your brand. Now, a lot of people will say your branding and your colors and all that doesn't really matter, and to an extent, they're right. It's because it's not the most important thing, but it is important because having a certain look to your channel and a look to your brand helps your whole entire entity that you're creating look way more curated and cohesive. And it also kind of just helps set expectations for your audience. And not only is this good for them in building a relationship with you, but it also helps you because it helps you have less things to think about. When you already have brand colors and fonts and different practices that you do with your thumbnails, it just helps it make it a whole lot easier for you to get things done. And when you are a micro-influencer or a small creator, chances are that you can't outsource all the time like a lot of these big content creators can. And so you're having to do a lot of the work, which means you need it to be quick and easy. You need things to just be able to go up at a moment's notice. And so that means that having practices and habits in place within your branding will actually make it so that you can put out more content at a much quicker and more efficient rate. When you are able to do this, you will automatically become even more consistent, and YouTube loves consistency. We've all heard it before, but it really does. It loves seeing that content creators are constantly putting out work, and the more consistent you are, the more chances you have of your content popping up on new people's pages, and the more chances you have of growing your audience and making all your coin, okay? So make sure you get those little details with your brand together because they are going to make a huge difference in your workflow. I do have a video on workflow as well and how I kind of make sure that my content planning isn't a whole cluster fumble, we'll say cluster fumble, and is a lot more efficient. So I'll go ahead and link that video for you guys as well. My fourth tip for micro-influencers and small content creators who want to make money using YouTube is to make your website work for you. Take time to really invest in systems and automations, you guys. These websites, especially these e-commerce websites where people are maybe purchasing your products or services or whatever through the website, they can get expensive. And if you're paying this annual rate every single year, you want to make sure that it is worth the investment, and really having systems in place can make sure that you are getting your money's worth. So when I say systems, I mean making sure that there are things on your website that kind of take tasks off of your hand. Your website should be an employee in your business. So it should be able to do scheduling. People should be able to fill out forms on there. For scheduling, I like to use Calendly. I'm not scheduling anything right now, but when I am scheduling things, I use Calendly. Sometimes your different websites can offer forms so people can fill out the forms on there instead of having to email back and forth. You guys, do you know how many times you will go through emails back and forth, just trying to set up a meeting? Go ahead and make sure that your website can do that on its own. Simple things like collecting invoices or sending follow-up emails, your website should be able to do all of that for you so that you don't have to worry about that. Because chances are, again, if you are a micro-influencer or a small creator, you probably aren't hiring out a lot. And so you're gonna have to do all of the work. And if you are having money coming in, it's probably coming in a little bit from everywhere. And so having a website that kind of handles some of that for you can take some of that stress off of you so that you can work more efficiently. Something else that's really important when it comes to your website, you guys, is making sure that it's updated. I have seen so many people who have websites and they just put them up and then they don't touch them for like 6 months. But if you have things that you are working on or promoting and marketing, your website needs to be a reflection of what is most important to you at that time. So I have been thinking about, you guys let me know in the comments, I've been thinking about making like a website building and managing course, maybe? I don't know. You guys let me know. It would be a lot of really in-depth information, way more that I can include here in a YouTube video. So if that is something that you guys want to know or want to learn and want me to kind of share how I've been doing that, then go ahead and let me know in the comments down below and I'll know if that's something you guys are interested in, because it is definitely important to make sure that you are constantly updating your website based on what your marketing strategy is at that time. My fifth tip for micro-influencers and small creators who want to make money using YouTube is to really change your perspective on working with brands. So I haven't done a lot of talk about brand deals here on this channel. I personally don't do a whole bunch of brand deals because I'm a little picky with the brands that I work with because I know my audience, I know what they like. But I will say that the biggest thing that has really helped me in terms of getting more brand deals and getting better quality brand deals is to really think about them in terms of a how can we help each other mentality. So a lot of times when people are thinking, oh, I want to get brand deals, they want to get a brand to cut them a big check because they are making content and that's just the extent of it. But really it is a relationship. When you're going to work with a brand, you are looking to build a relationship with them over time, and you want to really analyze what is it that I have, that I do, that's super valuable, and what is it that they have that they could do that is also very valuable for me. And when you think of it that way, one, it really requires you to be realistic about what it is that you have to offer this brand. So if it's not audience, if it's not audience size, maybe it's that you're the only person that really does what you do in your field. Or maybe you have a community that really, really trusts you and really engages. Or maybe you just make really, really bomb content and you're really, really good at making videos. Figure out what that is, because that is your value to a brand. And then think about what that brand also could offer you. So I do get a lot of emails from brands wanting to work with me, and a lot of them, honestly, I say no to because they don't really fit into my audience's needs. They don't really fit into what's important to my audience. And so it wouldn't really make sense for me to work with them. And I want to think about the long term, not just trying to get a short-term check from them. I want to make sure that I'm actually building relationships that are not only valuable for me, but for my audience as well. And so when you think of brand partnerships this way, it makes it much easier to say no. And honestly, I love saying no. I love saying no to things that aren't for me, to things that don't fit into what I am trying to do, because that means that the things that I am doing are really focused for the people who I'm making things for and for myself. Now, my sixth and final tip for micro-influencers and small creators who want to make money using YouTube is honestly the most important one. I don't know why I put it at the end, but here we are. And it is to think about what you want people to pay you for in the future. What is the thing that you want people to pay you for? And then backtrack, work your way backward and figure out, so what free things am I willing to give now? Sometimes entrepreneurs are thinking, oh, I have this idea, it's very valuable, I'm gonna get people to pay me for it right away. But the problem is that if you haven't built trust with your audience, then they aren't really gonna be pushed to purchase from you. Putting out free content helps you build trust with your audience. And also, it also pushes you to get better at your craft and to get better at the information that you claim to be sharing with other people. So just from what I have done the past 3 years sharing business content with you guys, I've become better at business because I'm sharing and expressing the things that I'm learning. And then over time, I know that there are certain things that I'm not gonna share on this YouTube channel, that I'm gonna have to have people pay me for. And that's fine, because if they can't afford the things that I want them to pay me for, they still have a bunch of free resources right here on my channel. And so that helps me not X out or ignore people who may be wanting something from me in some way. I'm able to offer tiers of my experience at levels that people are able to afford, and that way I can put most of my energy into the things that actually are going to make me more money. So this just helps your growth to be a lot more intentional. Really think about the content you're creating as an avenue into what you want to do at large with your business. So sometimes it is nice to jump on trends, but sometimes it just doesn't make sense for you and what you're trying to build, and that's okay. But you have to make that decision intentionally and know where you're planning to go with the stuff that you're wanting to do. And that is it, you guys. Those are my 6 tips for how you can make more money on YouTube, even if you are a small influencer or a small creator. Like I said, you guys, a lot of us aren't going to have the kind of growth that is super viral and happens automatically, and that is okay. Sometimes really great things are built over time. And if you are a creative entrepreneur and you are finding that you want to use YouTube to help your business make more money, it really takes just being intentional about the content that you're creating and about your time and how you are using it. And of course, you want to get your audience already used to having conversations about exchanging value. So constantly share the other things that you're offering. Don't be afraid to sell. People who are annoyed by your selling, they weren't gonna buy from you anyway. So don't even worry about what they have to say about it. Just make sure that you are actually offering your audience something that eventually they are actually going to want to pay for. If you have not already, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And if you are a creative entrepreneur like myself and you want to see more videos like these, then go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video next weekend. Later.